This is Paul Doherty. The date is Thursday, June 17th, 1982. I'm interviewing Mr. Bennett Deighan of Emerald. Mr. Deighan is in his 88th year. He has a very vivid memory of events that occurred through his years growing up, not only in Emerald, but in other surrounding areas. Mr. Deighan was a member of the BIS all his life, as was his father before him.
I can talk.
Yep. Could you tell me about the Deighans?
Yeah, well, all the Deighans in the Maritimes, or all the Deighans in Canada, as far as I know, are related. Because I was out west as far as Calgary, and I never met anybody by the name of Deighan. My great-grandfather and grandmother came out here to Prince Edward Island.
What were their names?
Eh?
What were their names?
William Deighan.
William
and Mrs. Deighan. And he married a lord's daughter in Ireland. That's the old story now, as far as I know. And her people wasn't satisfied with the marriage. And so they just pulled out of Ireland. They left Ireland and they landed in Freetown. And that's where the Deighans started from. See, he'd be my great-grandfather. Well, then my grandfather Deighan lived here just up in Nod here, up the road a piece. He got married to a Goodwin from Bedeck, Jimmy Goodwin and Ollie Goodwin's sister. But see, there's nobody at your age or even your people's age would remember them people. And they settled up here on a farm. Them times, see, when there was very little land cleared on the island, they were just settling in. I think there was only 1 or 2 fields, but fire had burned out the woods, all woods. And they built a shack in the woods up there, not far from the railroad crossing. And they had to walk a half a mile to a spring to get their water. That was my grandfather. And he had 6 or 7 children. My father was William H. Deighan. And he married a Whaling girl that was raised in Freetown, Susanna Whaling. And her mother was a Swinian from
Shamrock?
Shamrock, on that old Swinian place where your uncle's living in.
Yeah.
Yeah, her mother was born there. And she married a man in Freetown by the name of Patrick Whaling. And them times, see, some of her older sisters, my mother has 1 sister living yet. She's 103.
Agnes.
Agnes, yeah. They went to Boston, you know. But anyway, the girls went to Boston, and Agnes Malone, my Aunt Agnes, she met John Malone in Boston. He got married in Boston. And I just had the one uncle. He wasn't fussy about farming, so he left the farm and he went to Boston. And then my grandfather Whaling and grandmother Whaling got old. He came down here and sold the farm and took them to Boston to live up there because he didn't want to farm. They only had one boy. My mother only had 1 brother, Johnny Whaling. So they went to live in Boston. So I don't know how my father met my mother, but anyway, he was raised up here. My grandfather Deighan, William Deighan, raised him. My father's name was William H. Deighan. And when my father was young, he got on the railroad section man. Then there were no unions. Then the change of politics, he was laid off. He was conservative, the Liberals were in, he was laid off. And then this farm here, all this land at that time was owned by it was all in one by what do you call them? Anyway, it was all owned by one man. Hazelmountain. And my grandfather bought the 100 acres here off this man. Oh, what do you call them? I forget what you call them.
You mean a title or something for him? A landlord or?
Landlords.
Landlord?
Yeah, they were landlords. They owned the land. He bought this 100 acres of it. And he built that house. That house there, there was just a house. There was no kitchens on it or anything, just the main house in the barn.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, the bushel then like it is now. And he settled in here. And I was the oldest of 12. I was the oldest of 12 children. There's 6 or 7 dead. The youngest is dead, 2 or 3 of the youngest. I was the oldest of 12. I farmed here when I was 19. I went out west on a harvest excursion. And I worked in the harvest fields, and then I went into Winnipeg, and I got a job in a music store there as a shipper. Well, I had to be educated to it, you know, before I became a head shipper. But I was head shipper there for a couple of years. And the First World War came on. And I was in the war age, but I wasn't physically fit. I didn't pass a medical test. I couldn't go as a soldier because I was hard of hearing.
Oh.
I wear a hearing aid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I had 2 brothers home, and they went to Boston, and my father wrote me to come home. So I came home, and I worked on this farm here with my father. So all it was about 1918, and we bought a farm in Bredalbin. And 1970, yes, and 18, I batched on it 2 years before I got married. I married a girl right over the road here in McCarville.
Oh.
I see, and we settled on that farm in 1919. That's 60-some years ago.
It's a good while.
Yeah. We had 4 children. We have a boy and a girl in Toronto. We have a girl, a missionary sister in Toronto. She belongs to Our Lady's Missionary Society. And we have a boy there too. He's married. He has 3 girls, and they're married. See, I'm getting old, you know. I'm lived a lot longer than I should have lived.
Would you mind if I asked you how old are you?
Well, you know I'm more than 25.
Yeah, I know that much.
Yeah. I'm 88.
Oh.
I'm 88
Yeah.
years of age.
You sure don't look it.
No, perhaps not. I don't feel it. I'm quite active. So that's about the history of the Deighans. My wife and I farmed in Bredalbin for 37 years. That's where we raised our family. Right in a good Presbyterian village. And there were fine people.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes, there were fine people. Couldn't be beat. Of course, there's none of them there today. And we bought this place 27 years ago. My father willed this place to my son, my brother Jack. And he didn't know how to farm. He went out west, and then he came back. I bought it off him. I sold the place down there. I had a chance to sell it, and I bought this place off my brother. And he went to Toronto, yes, and then he came back, and he died in Newton about 5-7 years ago. Bennett Deighan, he's my brother. He died at McKeever's. Aidan McKeever was married to my sister.
Oh.
And what do you call that boy that's home, David?
David McKeever?
Yeah, I'm his uncle.
Oh.
Yeah, that'd be his uncle. So that's about the way with it. We're living here 27 or 28 years now. And we had a lot of work to do in this place when we come on it. So I don't do very much work now. Loyola does the work. He's married and he has 3 children. He's a girl in Charlottetown. He's a boy working with the Department of Highways now. And you know Michelle.
Yeah. What's she doing now?
Well, she's going to work at Hook River next Monday evening at the lobster suppers.
Oh, yeah.
Her mother started this week. So she'll be working there today. I don't know how long they'll work. End of August anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that's all I'll put on your table.
Do you know the place where in Ireland where the first Deighans came out from?
No, I don't. I don't know the name.
Well, was it a certain part of Ireland, or?
Yeah, it's from County Line, Ireland. County Line, Ireland.
County Line. Oh yeah. And then you don't know when they were born, do you? The first.
No, I don't know when they were born. No, I don't know the year they come out here either. But I know they're.
But you know the reason.
Yeah, I told you the reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was, you don't know the Mrs. Deighan, the first Mrs. Deighan, you don't know her maiden name?
No, I don't.
But she was Irish too?
Oh yes, she was Irish.
Do you know when either of them died?
But I can't give you the dates.
Oh yeah.
Well, they died, you know, long before I was born. Because they were my great-grandparents. They were my grandfather's father and mother. And he had settled up here. See, and he had a large family. Besides my father, there was 3 or 4 more boys. I think there was 8 or 9 in the family. I can't exactly tell you the day. And he settled up here, see, and that's where my father came out of. Well, that's a long time before I was born.
Yeah. Well, see, I guess this questionnaire, you guys have been here so long, like most people have been here maybe 3 generations or something, but you guys have been here longer, so it's hard. You don't have anything that was handed down like from father to son, like heirlooms, maybe Irish, or?
Well, no, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Any pictures?
Pictures?
Of, maybe not from Ireland, but of your grandfather or your father?
Oh, God, I don't think I have any pictures in here. There's one that's 103.
Aunt Agnes.
Huh?
Great Aunt Agnes.
Yeah, that's Aunt Agnes.
Her picture was in the paper.
Lately, was it?
Yeah.
I didn't happen to see it.
I cut it out. I just came back from Halifax. I visited Mother Duffy.
Did you? Ethel, yes.
Yeah.
Ethel and I the same age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I gave her the picture of the newspaper. She was happy to see it.
Yes, she would be.
Yeah.
Well, that's my mother's brother, Johnny Whalen. He married a Malone girl at Kelly's Cross. Nothing much from that.
Here's the picture.
Might be some old deeds here. Somewhere.
It's okay.
In there, I don't think. I don't know what I'm saying on that one. See, my wife's in the Sacred Heart home. She's not able to be out.
Oh,
Yeah. It's just pictures, you wouldn't be interested. Let's see now. I have the deed of this property somewhere. Some of these properties somewhere.
You never made up one?
No, we never made. No, we never made up one. No. That's if my father's family. No, no, I haven't got a tree of them. Funny is, some of them didn't make up one.
Yeah, it seems. Since there's a fair amount, and they lived here a long time.
Yeah.
What do you have any other family trees? Like maybe your mother's or your
No, I don't think it.
any
No,
relatives?
I don't think it.
Are you a singer? Do you know any songs?
Oh, now I used to sing years ago. I don't now.
Are you sure? You know?
I knew Frozen Charlotte pretty well one time. I used to sing that song. It's a long song.
Frozen Charlotte.
You ever hear it?
No.
No,
I think it's before my time.
It's an old one.
Yeah.
Oh God, it was a lovely song, but I don't remember it now.
You know.
I used to sing. Oh, I used to like dancing, you know, step dancing or waltzing, or I could do anything along the dancing line. My father was a fiddler.
Oh.
We learned to dance when we were young, you know. Yeah, I used to dance. Oh, she died. I haven't danced for years. I'm 88.
Yeah.
Or I'll be 88 this October. I'm in the 88th year.
Yeah.
See, for a person of my age, my wife's 86. She's just 2 years younger than me. She's not too bad, you know, only that she couldn't do much work, and in her memory, because she kind of got forgetful.
Oh, yeah.
So she's in the Sacred Heart home in Charlottetown. Now I'm alone here on this side of the house, but I'm not really alone, you know, because they're on the other side.
Did you build this part on?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, the other kitchen was on there, on the main house, but then when we moved to Alban 27 years ago, or I guess it was maybe 28, I built this kitchen on for the wife, and then we divided the house.
Oh.
See, Lola and the wife had part of the house, and we had the downstairs here and a bedroom upstairs, or 2 bedrooms. There's 4 bedrooms upstairs. We both have 2, but we never used any one, you know, unless some stranger would come. It was always an empty bedroom for them. But the place, you know, my brother was living on it for 10 years or more before we got it, and he let it go down to it, but he wasn't a farmer. Jack wasn't a farmer at all. He was just sports, that's what he was.
Sports?
Yeah, he played ball or skate or something like that. He was a pleasant chap. Everybody liked him. But 200 acres, you know, he didn't work the half, but I don't know, I mean, about 10 or 12 years he had it before we moved on. But some of those fields, you know, the buildings here are in the center of 200 acres, clear land. But some of the fields was growing up in bushes when we came.
Yeah.
And my father, when he was living, you know, well, see, we farmed in Bennett, was always here a lot up to see him. He always wanted me to get this farm. But, you know, I never thought of getting it, but father died and my mother was living. She was a cripple. They stayed on for years. So finally, mother couldn't look after herself, and I had a sister living in Emerald, and she went to live with my sister, Alice Hughes. And Jack came to Bad Albin one evening. He said, look, he said, I'm going to Toronto. He said, you can look after the old place. So we farmed it for 2 years from Bad Albin. All of us, young men, just growing up.
You mean you ran 2 farms?
Oh yes, we ran 2 farms. We had 100 and some acres down there. It wasn't all clear. And we ran the 2 farms for 2 years.
Must have been a pretty busy 2 years.
Yes, it was busy. I could do more work than I can now. Anyway, Jack wrote home to Jack was in Toronto and he did a good job. He had no notion to come home looking after the old place at all. So he wrote me a letter and said, do you want to buy it on South? So I could sell my own place and swallow waiting to buy it. I knew I could get through it. Well, I took the train and I went to Toronto. I went in at the farmer first and got everything legally drawn up, you know, so I could pay Jack and he'd sign the place over me in Toronto. We went to a lawyer in Toronto.
Oh, you didn't just do it here?
No, it was done in Toronto. But Bob Farmer was my lawyer here, and he had everything fixed up, you know, that when I'd go to a lawyer in Toronto, when Jack had signed it, it'd be mine. So I went to Toronto. Jack signed over the place to me. Came home. Oh, the place had gone down the ladder and the house wasn't in good shape inside. The wife and I had done the power work inside the house, and I built this kitchen on then, before we moved up. The buildings weren't like that out there. Like that. Now they're...
Those are new ones, or they're just remodeled?
Remodeled. Well, I put a 25, the barn was 30 feet wide, and I put 25 feet on the back of it. To make room for cattle. Painted it, you know. Got the power of money out. Now I don't need this all. It's all going to him.
Yeah. Well, when was that part of the house first built? Like, when was it built?
Oh, that's been there 100 years. That main part.
The main part.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know when it was, like a year when it was built?
Well, it's been built in 1892. 1892 that house should be built. And it was finished in 1893. When my father was married and moved into it, it was finished in 1894. And I was born in 1893. About 10 or 12 months after they were married, I was born in 1893. October, late 1893. So that's quite a while ago.
Yeah. And then, what year did you build the kitchen on?
I built the kitchen on in about 1936 or 35.
Oh yeah, so this part's...
Yeah, this part's new.
Well, it's still getting older.
Oh yes, that's quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. 18. No, not 18. 19. 19. Let's see. We moved up here and we're up here 28 years. Go back. That's 28. That'd be in 40 we come up, wouldn't it? 28, 40. 10 is 50, 10 is 60, 10 is 70, 10 is 80. No, we're in the late 40s, I guess we come up. Yeah.
Well, do you own 200 acres still around here?
Oh, no, I don't own it. No. Yeah, I just own something like 50.
50.
He owns the rest. He owns 150.
That's still a lot. Must be one of the biggest farms around here.
Well, probably it is. There's some of them have too. Clayton Hughes over there is a good bit of land. I don't know how much he has. He must have 200 acres or more.
What kind of farming did you do when you first started?
Oh, I done the same farmed the same way all my life. I kept a bunch of milk cows. That's one thing I always kept was milk cows. Kept a bunch of cattle. And I always grew when I was on the farm by the Albion, you know, it wasn't a big farm. I always grew 10 and 12 acres of potatoes. I always grew potatoes, seed potatoes. And I kept a bunch of milk cattle and young cattle. And of course the wife kept a bunch of hens. And she raised a bunch of chickens every year. She'd set 10 and 12 hens. Had her about 150 chickens. And look after them all summer. We had a hedge around the place. It was a comfortable place when we were there. It's not the same now. She had them 150 chickens. That's when we were married, you know, there was very few cars then. And in the fall, you see, perhaps there'd be 40 or 50 of them roosters. The rest would be pullets. And of course, we'd have to kill some hens, old hens. We just kept 150 laying hens. And see, the eggs bought our groceries.
Oh.
Well, we always made the eggs buy the groceries. And then in the fall, we'd be 50 or 60 roosters. Well, both of us, we put them into a building to fatten them after put the pullets in the hen house. We'd feed them pretty well, and then we'd take a day and kill them all up and dress them all up and make them ready for market.
Oh, you'd sell them?
Oh yes, we'd sell them. And before we had a car, I seen us put them into a wagon, 50 or 60 of these pullets, and driving to Charlottetown buying it. See, we always made the eggs by the groceries.
Yeah.
But then when the pullets went in first, they didn't lay perhaps till January.
Oh.
But then you see, we'd have all these roosters, and we'd dress them up and sell them, and we'd buy enough of groceries to do as the eggs come.
Oh, so you were thinking well ahead.
And yes, that's the way we farmed all our life. And I often seen us, poultry would be better priced perhaps in Charlottetown than any place around the country. And we drive in, it's 33 miles from our place.
It's a fair piece.
We drive through Stansell there, right through to Charlottetown. You know where the Town and Country restaurants in there?
Yeah.
Do you? Well, there used to be a livery stable right next to it, where you put in horses.
Oh.
You drive, but I think it was on Town and Country ground too, because it's a pretty big stable. You drive your horse in, see, and unhitch them. You back your wagon to the side of those. It's a big place, you know. Tie up your shafts and put your horse into a stall and give him a feed of oats. That's all they had till they come home. Livery stable. You never seen them?
No. No, I
haven't. They drive to Charlottetown. There's livery stables in Summerside too. See, we'd drive to Summerside here, drive into a livery stable, put our horse in, walk around town and do our shopping.
So you could leave it there and just...
I could leave it there for ready to come home. Oh, of course, I just forget what you had to pay, you know. So much for a stall. Oh, that hell, they've changed times.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
Well, what did the first Deighans, what did they do for a living? Farming?
Farming.
Also?
They always farmed.
They must have had to cut down a fair bit of trees.
Oh, yes, they had to cut down the trees and clear the land here. Yeah, when my grandfather settled up here, it was just one field clear.
Just one field?
One field, he had 100 acres. And afterwards they put a road through the center of the 100 acres to Freetown. From the crossing up here. Oh yeah, see, and God, them, you know, people worked then, they don't work now.
That's true, yeah.
They stumped all that land by hand. Cut down the trees and burnt them and stumped the land. I suppose they might use a horse and a bunk chain, perhaps, I don't know. Yes, cleared all that land. My grandfather and the boys, his boys, they cleared it by hand.
This is sort of like a guideline to help me. I usually go straight from it, from this guideline. It's one they made up.
Yeah.
The first Deighan's, where did they live? Like, what was the name of the place?
Freetown.
Freetown.
Yeah, but they were in Summerfield Parish.
Summerfield Parish. Well, there was different parts to was there different parts to Freetown then, like Lower Freetown?
Yeah, well, they lived right out here in Upper Freetown.
Upper Freetown.
In the George Crokin, Barnaby Crokin lived there, and his son George lived there. George sold out and he's living in Charlottetown now. I don't know who has the farm now.
It's still, is the original house isn't still
Oh yes, the original house is, yes.
It must be pretty old then.
Well, it's a pretty old house, but it's an L house, you know.
I know.
House, and then the kitchen built on with an L house. Yes, it's an old house, but it's in good shape.
Another thing I do is I take pictures of older houses. I'll have to get a picture of it.
Huh?
I'll have to get a picture of the house.
Well, yeah.
That house.
Yeah. You know where it is?
I'm not really sure.
No.
No. Who lives in it now? You don't?
No, I don't know.
You don't know?
I
could just go out for a drive sometime and look around.
Yes, you can go. Well, you can come out from Kincora, or you can come out this road and go towards Summerfield Church. You've been out this from Ember towards Summerfield. Well, you just turn left. It's the first house. If you turn left, first house on the right, going toward Freetown. Pretty damn near.
Oh, is there a barn? Is there a big barn with it?
There was a big barn. I guess still there.
Well, yeah, I think I know where it is then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where my mother was born.
That's weird. Your mother was born?
Yeah.
Oh.
Why not?
Oh, yeah. Could you tell me a bit about Emerald, this community, when you were here? When you lived here, like different things that went on, or what you did for entertainment?
Well, when I was young, you know, there was train service. There was no cars. And there was lots of trains coming into Bed of Emerald. There was a train coming from Charlottetown every morning and went right through to the boat. Took passengers. There was no cars, you see. Took passengers to the boat. Went by train. And there was a train coming out from Summerside. My brother Ernest used to drive on it. He's dead now. And it, see, there's a Y over here where you can turn a train.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it went to Cape Travis then. That train went to Cape Travis every day. There was no Borden then. Borden wasn't there. We went to Cape Travis and came back up here. Came back up here sometime through the day or in the evening. Well, then you see, passengers coming to the island by boat, them times, came by Summerside. Yeah, came by Summerside. There was no Borden, there was no transportation at Borden.
Yeah.
There was a boat running there from Summerside to Pointe-a-Sheen.
Is that near Cape Tormentine?
Well, it's quite a bit west of Cape Tormentine.
Oh.
Quite a bit west. But you see, there was a train from Charlottetown to pick up all the passengers that was going to the mainland. Any passengers from Charlottetown or around here, any part of here from Charlottetown, or I don't know how whether the train came down from west or not, but that boat went across in the morning. It crossed about 9 o'clock, Pointe-a-Sheen. Took all the passengers across. Well, that's the only. Well, then it waited for the train in the evening again, or in the evening, The express would get here about 7 o'clock, I think. What we call the express from Summerside going through to Charlottetown. Then there'd be a train at Emerald here, take past the Chincora, Albany or Cape Travis. See, people travel a lot of, well, that's the only travel way ahead by train. Oh, Lord, when I was young, we walked the station over here because there'd be 2 or 3 passenger trains in there. Oh, there'd be a big crowd of people there, you wouldn't be able to get through them. And over at the village there.
That's why it's called Emerald Junction?
Yes.
Because of the railroad.
The railroad, because there's a railroad run. Junction is bored, Cape Travis at that time, it's bored than now.
Oh.
Yeah. And we have 200 acres of land here, and the railroad both railroads go through our farm.
Oh.
Yeah, see this railroad goes to Boyden there. It passes down through our land. We have 40 acres on the other side of that railroad.
Oh.
And we have 65 acres on the other side of this line that comes down past here. So we're used to trains.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah, we're used to trains. Yeah.
So was Emerald a big place before the trains were?
Yes, it was different how it is now. There was a bank there then, and there was a doctor, and there was 2 general stores.
2?
2, yeah. Craig run one. You know that big house over there you see going over here?
Yeah.
Well, Craig built that. He was a merchant there.
Oh.
That house was, they started to build that house when I started to go to school. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
That'd be over 80 years ago when I started to go to school. And Craig ran a general store, you see, and Peter F. Hughes ran a general store. They're both dead years ago. And you see, people didn't have to go to Summerside to shop or Charlottetown because the country stores them times kept everything that person wanted on the farm. Over pants or overalls or boots or anything you wanted, you get it there, from groceries to clothing. No, I didn't have to go to Summerside to buy a coat for him. My father didn't for me, or any clothes at all. He could buy them right in the village here because it's a big store, well stocked. But now, you see, there's no store there because when the cars come out, you got the people you see got to go to the cities.
Yeah.
See, it's changed times.
And did you say there was a post office?
Oh yes, post office there.
Where was it? Who ran it?
Oh, a man by the name of Frank Murphy. His wife, I don't know that he was born there, but his wife was born on the Indian Corps there, not far from where you were living. What do you call that road that goes in from Murtis across there? Comes out there, that's the potato house. A newer road.
Roberts' Road?
Yeah, Roberts. You call the Roberts Road, do you?
Yeah, we call it. Well, since they live right there.
Yes, I forget what we called it. We didn't call the Roberts Road then. I forget what we called it. Well, his wife came. I don't think there's any building. There was a farm in there when you came in a piece. But building. I don't think there's any buildings there now.
No, I don't think so.
No, there was just one house, one family lived in that farm. McCarville's was their names. I can't tell you what McCarville's were. And John Michael Murphy, you see, he used to live on that place where Roberts is at. That farm there's a Roberts is on it? You know
on the same side of the road as that?
Yeah.
Is the warehouse?
Yeah, there's a warehouse there, and then there's barns and buildings. No, it's a Lawless.
Yeah, Vince Lawless.
Vince Lawless, yes. And nice Lawless cross the other side.
Yeah.
Well, John Michael Murphy lived there. Well, John Michael Murphy was born on a farm just up the road here. From when he was born. Yeah. He raised his family there.
So you had 2 stores,
Oh, yeah,
a post office,
yeah, and a bank.
and a bank.
And a doctor.
Who was the doctor?
Dr. McGueen.
Dr. McGuigan.
He was foreman at McKelly's Cross.
Oh.
But later on in years, he moved to Charlottetown, and then we had another doctor. The first doctor we ever had here when I was here, his name was Dr. Johnson. He was born in Cora Parish. The hell family did he come out of? I forget now. I don't know that girl coming in.
So you've seen a lot of changes in Emerald?
Oh man, yes. I've seen a lot of changes in Emerald.
For the worst, you think, or?
Well, it's less convenient, you know. Yes, for the worst. For the worst for the village and for the community. Yeah. See, Kincora has built up great since that. Kincora was like Emerald is now one time. Only that Kincora had a church.
Yeah.
Yes. That's how Kincora is.
Why would Kincora build up bigger than Emerald, since Emerald had everything going for it, the railroad?
Yeah, at that time, but then see the railroads eased out, but the cars took the traffic.
Yeah. And
Kincora built up with I remember when they just had a small schoolhouse there. But the Catholic Church was there, they got a convent, see.
Oh.
That helped out a lot. And then, well, the first stores that were there were run by John P. Smith. You wouldn't remember, and your people wouldn't either.
Probably not.
John P. Smith, and there used to be a store there when you come down across the railroad track and turn toward Newton.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody has a house there. There used to be a store right there.
I think Connick's lived there.
Connick's live on this side, but on the other side. Used to be a store there at one time. That's a long.
Right by the tracks?
No, you know where your Connick's live.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you just Connick has a driveway in there. You know, there's a place there when you turn to go to Newton on your left.
Mm-hmm.
There's a house there. I don't know who's living there.
Is it a new house?
Yeah, pretty new.
Peter's.
Yes, Peter's, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, there used to be a store there.
Oh.
Yeah, and then there was a house beside the store. Theodore McKeever's lived there. Theodore McKeever raised his family there.
Mm-hmm.
In the house that was there at that time. And then John P. Smith owned that house. You know, when you come out from Newton,
mm-hmm.
and you turn toward to go up to the Kincora
mm-hmm.
Church, there's a house there in there. I don't know who's living in it now. Yeah. Not up the road there, where you used to live somewhere one time. Did you work on a boat?
Which side of the road?
Left.
The left.
Going up. Just this side of the railroad track comes out to Emerald here. And then there's a driveway in there, there's some houses in along there. I don't know who's living there. John P. Smith used to live there.
Oh, yeah.
And he run a store there.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a daughter living in the same side home next to my wife, Ada Smith. Ada Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Will Smith, you wouldn't know Will Smith, but your mother'd know. Will Smith used to be in Kincora.
Probably.
Oh yes, your mother'd know.
And then there was another store too, the present one, when was it?
No, there was no store up there at that time.
There wasn't?
No, Pat Morris built that store.
Oh, yeah.
No, there was no store up there. They were down what we call the village, or that's Saul Village now anyway. And then on that house after you cross the track there on the right there's a double tenement house. McCarville's used to live there. Oh, who's living there now? There's a house up behind it now that wasn't there then.
Wish Murphy? Is it a big grey house?
Yeah, it's right next to the railroad there.
Yeah.
Wish Murphy lives there, does he? I don't know where he comes from.
I think his wife might have been a McCarville from from Kincor area, I think.
Well, Tom McCarville's lived there. Eddie McCarville was born there. Ada McCarville lived there. It was a great place to go in my young days. They were full of music. Ada was a great piano, organ player then. And Eddie and I used to get around a lot together. He married a girl from Kensington, Flahaven. Now he is a boy married in Kincor there, a son, just across from the store there.
Eddie?
Yes, it's Eddie.
Married to?
Married to a girl from Kelly's Cross, wasn't he?
A Flood?
God, I think so. But your school teacher.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I know that fellow well. He used to be around here when he was young.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, I never seen him lately. He works in town.
I guess so, yeah. You see him driving back and forth.
Works in town.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of a job he has?
I don't know.
Yes, I know him well.
Yeah. When was the first school built around Emerald? Would you remember that, or?
No, I don't remember that. They were built before my time.
Oh, where did you go to school?
Emerald.
Whereabouts was the school?
Well, it's just the same place it is now. It's no school there now, but when you go over here and go down the road there, you know where Clayton Hughes lives, right to them? Mm-hmm. Well, that's the school. That long building there was a school.
Oh, they use it as a building?
They use it as a warehouse or somewhere. Hughes' bought it.
That's where you went to school?
Yes, where I went to school.
Who was could you tell me some of your teachers?
Yes, I can tell you the first teacher I went to. She was a little red-haired lady. Her name was Katie Trainer from Maplewood. Katie Trainer. Don't think she had any relations in Kincor. She used to visit here a lot, on weekends. She boarded over in Emerald. But people didn't do as much traveling then as they do now because there was horse and wagons. Yeah. He was visited. There was a fellow come out here from Freetown. He used to visit. His name was Rogers. He was bald-headed like I am. And she had a red head. Well, they were sitting to the supper one evening at the table, my mother giving the supper. So this Rogers asked her where was she. Oh, she asked Rogers. No. Let's see now how it goes. Yes, she asked Rogers where was he when hair was passed around. He had no hair, he bald head. He said, I was right to the front, but they had nothing, that red stuff, and I wouldn't take it. Yeah. Right to the front.
I guess he got back at her.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And can you remember some of the other teachers you had?
Oh yes, I had McDonald by the name, I lived over here, Maggie Ann McDonald. And then I had there was a fellow taught us from Tignish. See, there were two schools, there were two buildings, and once you came to grade 5, I think, or 6, you went from the lower room into what we call the big school. Mm-hmm. And in the big school, there was Father Hughes taught us when he was young, Father Peter F. Hughes. He was born in Emerald. Father Smith from Kelly's Cross, he was born in Maplewood. He taught there. Katie Trainer and Maggie Ann McDonald, there's quite a few. I'd have to think them over, to remember. It's a long time since I went to school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Ethel Duffy ever go to school with you?
She went from here. She got her education over here.
Oh yeah, because I remember when I was over there, she said they went to Maplewood School. They lived in Maplewood.
Yes, I know.
But they had a falling out with the teacher or something.
Perhaps so.
So they come up to Emerald.
She did. Yeah. She was in the higher classes, Yeah, she stayed here. My father went to school.
Oh, yeah.
She boarded here and walked to school. It wasn't not that far, Mm-hmm. But didn't mind walking them times.
Yeah.
Yes, Ethel Duffy went to school from here. How is she? She's pretty good.
She's pretty good. Yeah.
Good health.
Well, she had a stroke before,
Did she?
and now she had one half. She was half paralyzed, right?
Yeah.
Now she's got her feeling back in her arm, and her hands, and her leg, and her foot.
It's coming back, is it?
It's just about all back now.
Is it?
Although she said she can't grip very good, like to write with a pen.
No.
But she's really pleased with it.
I see.
And she can go anywhere with a walker, and she does have a cane, and her aim, I think, is to walk without any help.
I see.
And she says she's going to reach it.
I see.
She's really determined.
Yeah, she's determined. Oh yes, I know her well. She's determined. She's always that.
Can you remember any stories about her?
Well, no, I can't. I don't remember any stories about her. Might be some if I could just think them over.
Yeah. Did you have was there any big events that went on in Emerald's history that you can remember? Like any big, maybe celebrations?
Well, we had a BIS society over here at that time, one time, you know.
Yeah?
Could
tell me something about it, some things?
Well, they had a hall over there. They had a great big hall over there. They had concerts in them. It tore it down. It was up there where warehouses were. China's warehouses. But we used to have BIS meetings there every month. And I think it was the 10th of every month we had the BIS. We had a lot of members. Members from Kincoa, members of all around the place. And then we'd have concerts there. We'd have a BIS concert there the 17th of March every year. And we'd have a play.
Yeah.
Youngsters around here, and I was in them different times. We'd pick a play. I don't know who the hell picked it. I didn't. But pick a play, and we had lots of fiddlers here who could play, lots of Irish music, and we'd have a big concert there the 17th of March. The hall wouldn't hold them, and I think it held over 300. Hall wouldn't hold them. Yeah. See, that's all died out.
Well, was it built before you were?
Oh yes, it was built before I was born. Oh yes, it was fun. My father was in it, see, when he was a young man. Oh yes, BIS Society had a hall there. It's over 100 years ago.
Oh yeah.
But my father was a member of the BIS Society for all his life. Everybody around here was Irish, and they all belonged to it. And a lot of people some from Indian River and Kensington and Kincoa. It was a big organization at that time.
Yeah.
Big organization.
Well, when did it close down? When did it?
Oh, it closed down after. Not in my time. It didn't close down because I always attended meetings after I was married. You know, of course, that's a long time ago. But you know, when the younger generation, like my grandchildren, came up, even my son, he never joined the Irish Society. The youngsters didn't take the part, didn't take an interest in it. And the damn thing just faded out. But they had some money, and the old hall got pretty rickety, and they tore it down. The bit of hall is even, you know where the hall is now? Yeah. They built that, the Irish Society did.
Oh.
Yeah. Or helped to build it, I guess there wasn't enough money to pay for it. I think there's some debt on that yet. But there don't be much going on there, but there's more going on in Kincoa because it's built up and they got a convent there and they got a senior citizens home.
And then the school.
And school, yeah, big school. You're going to build a big school up the road there and went out to Newton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The new one, yeah.
Yeah, I heard that.
Are there any people in your family that you consider famous in your family tree that they did something or they were known for something that you can remember or that you really looked up to?
Yeah, well, I don't think there were any better than anybody else, you know. I don't think I think they were mostly ordinary people. My grandfather was a staunch man and he was pretty sincere, you know. My grandfather, one thing he could do, I learned little from him, if he'd seen the new moon and when he was 2 days old or 3 days old, he could tell you what kind of weather we're going to have. A lot better than I can tell you now.
Oh.
And once you see the moon,
you could tell the weather from...
you can tell the weather, what kind of weather we're going to have in that moon.
Oh.
Hell yes, that was no trouble. And did you ever notice a dipper on the sky there in the stars?
Yeah, yeah.
And you see, whatever shape that dipper was in, you see, give an indication of what kind of weather we're going to have. Oh, God, yes. He could tell you more about the weather than they can tell you now on the radio or TV. Yeah.
How did he get that? Just from
these young days, or just watching the different moons, the different shapes, the different periods they're in.
That's something.
Yeah, damn right.
And did you say you can do it?
Oh no, I can't do it like him. But I can tell you when I see the new moon whether it's going to be warm or cold.
Oh.
Now this last moon we had, it's a new moon. I think it's Monday. But the last moon we had, whenever I seen her, I said she's a cool moon for this time of year. She was too far from here. She was too far north.
Oh.
But now the next moon, when I come, if she's pretty well west or a little bit south, she's a warm moon.
Oh.
Oh God, I can tell you that.
That's something just to know that.
No,
that's more than the weather.
I don't know much good there now, but.
Were there any stories that come down to you about your parents or your grandparents or any cousins that you had? Any stories, maybe funny or any kind?
I don't think so. I don't think so. We have a daughter, you know. We have a daughter. We only had 2 girls. She's in a nun in Toronto right now, but she's in the RDC. It's all over the world. She was in Algeria for 3 years.
Oh.
And in April, she was in Japan, in the Netherlands. That's the other side of the world.
Yeah.
And she was there for a month. It took her 30 hours to fly from Toronto to where she was in the Netherlands. 30 hours flying. She said she got pretty tired. She was home here since that.
What's her name?
Mary.
Sister Mary Deighan? Is that her name?
Sister Mary Deighan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are there certain things in your family history that you'd like to know more about that nobody talks about, like where your family came from in Ireland or stuff like that?
That's something I don't know I'd like to know that.
You'd like to know?
Yes, I'd like to exactly where my family come from in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the Canadians came from, I think, County Cork, you know, they called it. I'm not too sure of that, but.
Well, a lot around Kincora, I think, there's certain County Monaghan, around Kelly's Cross, and
Yes,
it was County Monaghan.
Yeah.
The different areas were like from different, from
That's
one county.
That's right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah. So you'd like to know more about that?
Yeah. But you can learn all you can, then you can let me know.
Okay, I will.
Yeah. Now, have you anybody else out here to go to see? You haven't, have you?
Out here?
Yeah, this way.
Well, one name I was given was Mrs. Trainer, Mrs. Pauline Trainer.
Yeah.
And I was given her name, but I don't think I'll see her today. It's getting too close to dinner.
Well, she lives right in the, you know where she lives?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's away a good bit.
Yeah.
She's a daughter married in Charlottetown. She's a brother living in there. He's Minister of Fisheries, you know. Minister of Fisheries.
What's his minister? What's
his first name?
Pat Binns?
No. Trainer. trainer's his name. I know his first name, I can't think of it. I know him well. He's Minister of Fisheries in Charlotte.
Bill?
Bill Murphy.
Bill. He was the one of the people I worked for was the president of the BIS. He works in the provincial government, and it was this Bill trainer who told